Well, Kris, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you very much for having me.
You're more than welcome. More than welcome. Now, Kris is the founder of Ardor Media Factory and Ardor SEO, and he also dubbed himself the coolest guy in SEO, right?
Oh, well, that was actually someone else named.
Oh, okay.
Kind of stuff, but hey.
So I tried to throw a trap out there first. So somebody else dubbed you. Okay.
Aaron is just jealous because he always called himself that. So
only privately. Now he's grabbed the title, man. Well, you're a software engineer. You also originally from Brisbane, where you graduated from Queensland University of Technology.
Yeah.
Tell us about Queensland.
So it's pretty much the Texas of Australia. We're the cowboy state. We love horses and bulls, and both types of music, country and western.
What's the Queensland University of Technology's mascot? Do we have a mascot?
I don't think we have one. We're that geeky.
Cool. Well, and when did you graduate there?
Oh, way back in, I don't know, over a decade ago.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Too long ago to remember.
Well, fast forward a few years, and you now have a permanent office based in Davao City, in the Philippines, and you've got a beachside city, right?
Yeah, so we got two offices, one here in Davao in the Philippines, and another one where I spend most of my days these days in Phnom Penh, Cambodia.
Very
which
cool.
is not a seaside town, but it's a nice place.
Excellent. And boy, that is a great area of discussion. And I wanted to kind of showcase not only your SEO focus and what you provide and some thoughts inside the SEO industry, but we do want to talk about what it means to develop an agency like that. But before anything else, can you give us a picture of the day in the life of Kris Reid?
Oh, geez. I wake up about dawn. I do a bit of yoga. Then I get out and I plan my day, what I want to do, like set out my business goals. Mm-hmm. Then I go and have breakfast and I get about doing those goals, and usually they're done by about 10 or 11, and that's usually a full day's work. I have a little break, and then I get on to doing all the other things that people want me to do, like answering customer emails and support and customers, managing staff and that sort of stuff.
Got it. So how long is your day usually?
Well, like days like today are pretty long, so it's nearly 11 p.m. at night, and I kicked off at 5 o'clock this morning, so yeah, it's a pretty long day.
I think so, yeah. So, I mean, if you start to hallucinate during this conversation, I fully understand, right?
I had 4 espressos just before.
Oh, yes.
So I'll be fine.
You and me both. All right, excellent. All right, so we're amped. Well, talk to us about the company, Ardor Media Factory. Give us an understanding of the origins of that company.
Yeah, so I was a software engineer working in finance in London until the global financial crisis, and my career went kaboom. Mm-hmm. But then I traveled around the world and stumbled into SEO. And one thing that I found was really crucial, and it still is today, is backlinks.
Yep.
And being a software engineer, I really like building systems. So I built a system to build backlinks and track backlinks for my customers. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, well, who needs backlinks? Well, SEO companies. So I started contacting SEO companies, and we built a media factory to pump out good quality content and build links to help rank sites.
Excellent. How long has Ardor been around?
So a little over 6 years now, I think.
So you were in Brisbane, and you did a number of different points of travel. You were also in Russia for a while. What took you to the Philippines?
So the Philippines is the non-English speaking country that has the best level of English, and the cost of living here is substantially less than the West. So you get access to good staff at great rates, and we like no Western company can compete with us on price. So
sure.
That's why we're here.
So, I mean, yeah, absolutely. You have a whole different cost of living there, and you can certainly compete with Western firms on a regular basis. What about the talent there in the Philippines and Cambodia?
Yeah, so like I just took our chat support team out for dinner, and the whole dinner at a really nice restaurant cost about $100. It was great, and these girls are fabulous. They've all had so many years of call center experience. Their English is impeccable. Like they do great. Like there's bigger call centers than us, obviously, like Teleperformance, which is just across the road from our office. They've got a 4,000 seat call center. It's like, if you want people that can speak good English and at good rates, this is the place to have them.
Absolutely. What were some of the challenges regarding having an agency in the Philippines? I was just thinking. I mean, just off the cuff, time zone challenges.
Yeah, certainly working with the US is a real pain in the butt being in Southeast Asia.
Sure.
Yeah, I only have a few hours late at night or really early in the morning to be in US working hours. So that is annoying. But I mean, there's lots of challenges living here. Things don't work as well as they do in the West. We have internet issues, we have power issues, we have language issues. Everyone has food issues, and has to run to the toilet every now and then.
Oh boy!
and that just doesn't go away. I've been in Asia for about 5 years now, and it still gets me.
No matter what kind of podcast we have, it always comes back to the toilet.
Poop always comes up.
Yeah, it always
Actually, it goes
up.
down. Yeah. But thank you, Kris, for contributing into the fecal genre.
I'm going to start getting worried about what we're going to rank on here too.
Well, I mean, obviously there's some clear decision criteria that you had to operate in these cities. Do you see many other competitive SEO firms that are trying to compete nationally and more importantly internationally, doing these type of remote offices or are investing in this type of Eastern culture?
I mean, there certainly are. Like, I go to Bangkok a lot. A few of our biggest customers are in Bangkok, and it's much more competitive there, as in competitive for staff, because there's a lot more agencies.
Sure.
And because generally a lot of people want Western staff because they're higher skilled and their English is obviously better because, well, they're native.
Right.
And so everyone competes for those staff. It's like a Silicon Valley sort of area where you got to fight for the best. Where we're lucky enough that Devour is not like that. We're the biggest SEO company here, so no one competes with us here and in Phnom Penh too. So that's a bonus.
Seems like there's some good opportunities too. If you're an SEO firm in the States, you're probably working almost solely with local or American clients, and your focus is hyper focused on Google, right?
Right.
And it seems that internationally, if you're working with folks in China, you're working with Baidu and everything else. So, are you seeing kind of an array of search engine challenges across other countries and the search engines that drive them when you're working internationally?
Still, pretty much all of our customers are Australian, American, British. So we just care about Google too,
Okay.
Kind of dovetailing, Doug's question is, as you're having you have more international. I mean, I honestly, I need to ask this question: the ratio of U.S. companies that you deal with as opposed to non-U.S. companies. Can you give me a kind of a percentage breakdown there?
Oh, it's very negligible. I mean, we have plenty of Australian customers as well, but like the Philippines and Cambodia, their marketplace is so different. Like Cambodia, people search on Facebook; they don't search on Google. So it's the expats that will still use Google, but not the local people.
Really?
And generally, most industries, there's not 10 competitors, so you're going to be in the top 10 anyway. So it's pretty hard market to win clients, and their budgets are so small that we just prefer to work in the West.
Yeah, I completely understand that. So, I mean, predominantly you have a U.S. based customer. Where my question was going is comparing customer expectations between U.S. and non-U.S. companies, and we're going to get into more SEO and perspectives of what we should really be paying attention to. But do you see U.S. companies still paying attention to rank factors as opposed to other factors? What type of well, let me just pause with that question. Do you see them still paying attention to ranking factors regularly?
Like, what do you mean? Like, rank factors in regards to what?
Just the keyword rankings themselves, as opposed to maybe other companies outside of the U.S. Maybe that's a bit.
Sometimes they do, and I try and steer customers away from worrying so much about rankings, because at the end of the day, no one really gives a about rankings. They care about new customers.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
What's more important is to look at customer intention, what people are searching for, and are they using a buying signal? And then what are they doing on your website, and how do you convert them? I mean, who cares if you get 100,000 visitors a month? It's that you get customers,
Absolutely. And that was a sneaky way for me to tee this up to you, because I really wanted to get into intention marketing, because that has always been the coin of the realm. Whether or not we knew the term or the concept, search engines are symptomatic. They're symptoms of intent. They're not, the keyword ranking is not the end-all, be-all. That's not the factor of success. That's literally a stepping stone to the success, which is the transaction with a consumer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that our industry as a whole, just give me your perspective, our industry as a whole, do you think we as SEOs feel that way, that we've shifted into the intention understanding, or do you think we're still kind of grounded inside of keyword rankings?
I think we're certainly evolving as an industry. Like, so when I started in SEO, it was a much more juvenile market, and I'd talk to people like website owners, and they'd go, "I got a website, it's fine. You search my business name and I rank," and you had to explain to them, well, people aren't searching your business name, they're searching for the solution that your business finds. And they go, oh yeah, cool. And eventually the penny would drop, and you could convert them to a customer.
Right.
And now they understand that they have to search for a keyword, but then they're so focused on, I need to rank for this keyword, that they're not really worried about, well, what happens when someone gets to your website? Are you converting that? And so I think as an industry as a whole, we're all starting to realize that the rankings and the traffic are not the important thing.
Yeah, you got to think beyond that. They're absolutely invaluable when it comes down to getting the right customer. We all understand that, but getting them to the next steps on those journey, and we've talked about it on the show a number of times, the consumer journey. And it's the journey to conversion, and you can absolutely impede your customer, and you don't even know it, by obviously graphic design and useful content that helps bridge that query and connect with the intent of that consumer. So let's talk about keywords inside of intent-focused pursuits here. This is intention marketing, and we need to learn from and guide customers to their goal. How do you go about developing content and a rich pathway for consumers to actually have as little impediment as possible to get to that conversion or to that transaction?
One thing I really push and I really recommend customers to do, and I recommend everyone to do, is have live chat on your website. Like, there's plenty of free applications like TalkTo. It costs nothing to install, and it's so simple to use.
Right.
And then you can really easily track. Like, Google Analytics is tough to understand. It's hard to use. It's so complicated. Google's not very good at making easy to use interfaces. But, using a small chat program, you can really see where a customer comes in, what they're doing on your website, and you can talk to them and go, hey, you're looking at spare parts there. Do you need help selecting one? And then you're really interacting with your customers, seeing what they're doing on your website. Page doesn't convert or doesn't have enough information, or if they're asking a question, or maybe you put that on your website,
So, that intercession, that injection of that live chat. Let's talk about that, because it has been chat has been used regularly as more of a passive, however available discourse point for a consumer, and a lot of consumers are like online customers. I mean, they fall into either calling, form fill, or chat. Right? For those are the three tiers of true conversion. I mean, there's a lot of other sub tiers and a lot of sub points, what have you. But the chat's always been I will interact with it whenever I'm ready to actually. I see that chat bubble floating around there. I'll connect whenever I want to. But you're talking about live chat. You're talking about introduction, opening it up, and actually having somebody behind at a one-to-one relationship with that viewer that's coming through. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can see someone that they've gone to whatever product page and they're looming around there for a minute, and you can see if they don't go to a shopping cart page, well, then what are they doing? Do they need some more? Do they need a nudge? Do they need some more information? And you can just pop up that chat and go, "Hey, I see you're looking at spanners. Can I help you there?"
Right.
And a lot of the time, it even just makes it personal that there's a real person there. People, small businesses like Amazon does great because they got this big brand and everyone trusts them, and it's super.
Sure.
I put my credit card in there, I'm going to get my book or whatever.
Right.
Where a small website where no one's ever heard of you before, people still are a bit worried. If I give them money, am I going to get my product? Is it going to be what I think it's going to be? And so if they're at least talking to someone, they know someone's really there, it just builds that extra layer of trust and makes it so much easier to get a conversion.
Yeah, you got to break through those reservations, whether or not those are uniquely expressed reservations. There's always a trepidation whenever you're dealing with small businesses. But what you're talking about is very, very interesting because this is a one-to-one communication, and I mean from a level of scalability, right? Having individuals that can actually watch that behavior track, and there's got to be like flags or key metrics that alert whoever's behind that chat that chat console to start that whenever 30 seconds or 60 seconds in, something like that. The factor is that how do you make that scalable solution where you have that personnel that can actually can view and be able to read that behavior pattern with quick response time?
Well, I mean, your website should be converting. So if you're a one-man band, your website should be good enough that you can manage it yourself and still, use your business. If you're getting too much traffic, well, it should be converting more, and you should be able to, hire staff, right? And so it always just keeps going up. If you're getting too much traffic and your chat support can't handle it, then hire some more staff. Right. If they're not converting, then, well, you got some issues.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is. What it gets down to is that level of granularity. Every digital marketing needs to break down to the true real-world environment. That live chat is that tool that can absolutely connect that relationship. And that's what you're really doing, is creating that relationship with that consumer where they need it, when they need it. And you can go ahead. And
it brings back to that a website really is a shop front. It's not some mystical thing up in the air. It's the same as a store, And so you're the guy at the front of the store going, "Hey, can I help you with something?"
Yeah, there's been a mentality over the years. Finally, I think we're in a place where businesses, by and large, understand that it's not a brochure. But even in that space, people open up brochures because of their intent, because of their interest. So, I mean, yeah, you have to be in that space where you're attending to the traffic as it's coming in through the site. That's a great tool. And can you refer to a number of these live chat tools that you've used in the past that are good?
So there is one called Live Chat, which is one of the most famous.
Yep.
It's a paid version. Talk2 is a fabulous one that's free. They're the two that I'm most familiar with. I'm sure there's plenty more, but those two will get you everywhere you need to go.
Yeah, live chat has really evolved over the years. They've got some great tools nowadays, and it's actually inexpensive too. So
it's very inexpensive, and you can have a mobile app as well. So you're out for dinner, and boing, you got a little ping on your phone, and hey, make some money to pay for your dinner.
Yep. But it's the, and I don't mean to keep on going down this rabbit hole, but it's not only the response whenever somebody's ready to chat. You're actually advocating chatting and trying to initiate that chat, and getting in front of that consumer as you see that navigation happening and as you see them kind of vacillating between pages. You should be. Are you advocating that you initiate that live connection? Hey, I've seen you over here. Can I help you?
Yeah, for sure. Because as soon as someone sees that that's not a robot, right? Mm-hmm. That someone's gone, I see you are looking at this. You go, wow, that's a real person. Suddenly feel like I've got a connection. Not, people don't like to be tricked and have a robot giving them some automated response. So
you got that right. Actually, you know what? I don't know if you've been privy to it, but there's a whole new fleet of phone calls, solicitation phone calls that are direct dials to consumers now that are completely automated, and you can sniff out that robot that's communicating to you. It feels very human, but as soon as you trip across a particular pause, you can actually trick that answering or that communication service to be able to repeat itself a couple times. My wife actually got tricked by one of those just recently. And it's the creepiest thing. It really is.
Yeah. Some of them do get real good.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Kris, I want to go ahead and tie off this segment and see if we can keep you on to the next segment where we can talk more about maybe SEO link authority, some more about intention marketing, and also talk about your firm and developing an agency. Can you stay on with us?
Sure, please.
Excellent. All right, we're going to be coming back with Kris Reid and going into maybe a bit more of all these areas right after. We're continuing our conversation with Kris Reid of the Philippine-based Ardor Media Factory. And that's actually not true. It's Philippines plus Cambodia, correct?
Indeed, it is.
Excellent. So I wanted to continue and just kind of finish up on the intent marketing side of things, if you don't mind. There's some deeper perspectives inside of queries as people are searching online, and keyword ranking is really should be gone the way of the dodo. Your SEO performance needs to drive revenue, and it can't be hung up on keyword ranking factors. It really needs to be going in deeper to the intent and what people are actually tying. And there's a beautiful grid that kind of shows kind of intent marketing from a transactional, informational, and a navigational side of things. So for transactional, buy bamboo socks, right? Mm-hmm. If you know what bamboo socks are.
Sounds painful.
Yeah, it really does.
Those are not happy socks.
Those are not happy socks at all. And then informational terms and conditions for, Google Fiber, right? Or navigational, PayPal website or PayPal app. Those are three different types of keywords, right? That are that define different intent. So whenever you're talking about keyword and keyword ranking, it's really the pursuit of what they're typing in and why they're typing in that at a particular point. I mean, Google's in the game of answering questions now, right? So the deep informational section is where you're going to start getting, where your organic marketing efforts really start bearing fruit. It's deep intent. It's complex questions that can take time and effort to answer quickly. I mean, if you've got some quick answers, Google's already in the space of answering some easy questions inside of the Google space to begin with the knowledge graph. So if you're asking a particular question is in the general idea environment, Google's eating up that space, and they're not. They're wanting to answer that question for the consumer because that's what they've built their entire premise on, is be able to satisfy that query. So the next level, that more deeper transactional level, is that where you guys operate on a regular basis? Is developing that type of information, or do you go a different direction?
So we take SEO as any other form of marketing. If you're not getting an ROI, then your customer's going to leave. And we never try and aim to be the cheapest guy on the block. We don't want to compete on that sort of grounds at all. Mm-hmm. And we say to our customers, look, we're going to get you an ROI as quickly as possible, because as soon as we're making them enough money to pay for our service, well, the rest is gravy, right?
So absolutely.
if month one you can get them, make them more money that pays for you, then boom, they're happy for life. And that's an easy way to maintain growth.
So, speaking of the ROI, how do you because we know natively that organic search engine optimization is a longer duration than a lot of other digital tactics. How do you get that ROI quickly for your consumers or for your clients?
So we do a thing called a quick wins.
Yeah,
so we look at we do a quick analysis of the website and find the biggest things that are an issue, and that's usually enough to give them a good boost.
Sure.
Then we'll look at keywords that are on page 2. Like if you're number 11, you're getting no traffic. If you kick that forward just one spot to number 10, well, you're getting some traffic. So that's like a really, really great way to do it. You just find all of the keywords that they're on page 2 for, build some links, tweak some content, and boom, you've getting 10% more traffic straight away.
There you go.
So
there you go.
There's some quick ways.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's where as you start an engagement with any digital marketing firm, you need to know those quick wins, because you can absolutely. And Doug, we've seen that on a regular basis, and you've seen it as well. Is that a client comes in, and they also kind of WebMD themselves. They kind of diagnose what their issues are. A lot of times, that's not really the key issue. It may very well be conversion optimization. Maybe be the first thing. It's not ranking. That's, hey, you know what? Your shopping cart sucks.
We had a client, I've said it before, we had a client once that their form didn't work.
They came to you and their form did not work. Yeah. So that was 100% return.
Yeah. And they came to us. They said, hey, our last agency built our site, but we're not getting any leads. So the first thing we did was fill out the report to see when they would reply to us, and
it broke.
Nothing. I had a nice thank you. We'll be in touch.
Yeah.
Confirmation message, everything. But it just
We've had a big client recently who, we've been working on their site for the last couple months, and it's real dog. It's just not really working. We're like, what's going on? And they started kicking our ass a bit. Mm-hmm. And then we looked back through their analytics and went, did you guys get a penalty? About 3 years ago, they got a penalty. Yeah. And they're like, oh yeah, we got a penalty. And like, why the hell didn't you tell us?
Thanks for telling us.
And now we're just working on removing the penalty, and everything will be good again. But it's like, if you give us all the information, it makes life a whole lot easier.
And maybe push a pause just on that concept, is that clients have hired different marketing firms over the years, and we're now in the era where most businesses have websites, by and large, and most businesses have gone through some sort of hiring of a marketing firm, and they're not all proud of what they've done. Right. And it takes kind of a big person to be able to admit, we've got this baggage over here. We had the exact same thing with a number of clients that hired these link farms, and they're not telling us that.
Yep, we've had that too. Yeah,
they look like they don't want to look like they make bad decisions, right? But at the same time, if you're not transparent with what you've done, how you've done, what you've done, right? Well, a lot of times companies don't even know. But if they do know, I mean, we implore you, everybody who's a company owner, communicate to your digital marketers, because if they've got one hand tied behind their back because of something that you're embarrassed about, Lord Almighty, do you realize that you're doing a disservice to yourself as well as that marketer? It's unfair to that marketer because of that. So, sorry, that was a bit of a PSA.
yeah, for sure, though. I mean, it broke our heart when we found it, but it's okay now. We're well on the way of removing it, so life will be good again.
Yep. I want to shift gears into SEO audits, Kris, and talk to you a little bit about, because there's, by and large, a slew of different tools out there, different techniques out there, but we wanted to key into a couple of things here. Where would you recommend someone start with an SEO audit?
Generally, quite simply, the first thing I always do is go to Google and type site:\domain name, and then you can see all of the pages listed in the by authority of what Google think.
Right.
And it should be in the order of what you think too. Generally, your homepage is number one, and then your most important pages should be. If it's in a different order, then your site structure's terrible and your internal linking's terrible. But the most common thing I'll notice is that their title tags and their descriptions are terrible.
Yep.
And it's like, that's so easy to fix.
Yes, it is. And those things are probably the most ignored, widely ignored, regularly that we see. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So often people can get to see so many different directions that they end up kind of standing still, even without a step-by-step guide. I mean, speed is becoming more and more important, especially with the AMP progression. Is that a good place to start? Outside of the titles, we actually absolutely agree that those are.
So like on more technical things like speed, that's something you're going to have to hire a professional with, unless you're a web designer, because it's optimizing a website for functionality for speed. It is tricky. You got to compress files and images and. Unless you're a web designer, it's going to be tricky. But unless your site's a real dog, then I wouldn't say it's that important. Like mobile responsiveness is probably more important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Google wants to see that your site loads nicely on a tablet, on a phone, on a desktop.
Nope, absolutely. So whenever you deliver an SEO audit for a client, what are the challenges that you face when you provide one of those?
Well, it depends on the state of the site. I mean, some sites are in good nick, but then there's always stuff you can find, and some sites are terrible, and then it's a really giant audit. But it's trying to break it down into a way of what to fix next and explain it to them in kind of layman's terms, because some people don't know anything about how a website works.
Well, we also do audits at our firm. And we've had experience before. You put so much time into an audit, and there are some automatic tools that can make our lives easier, and we certainly have a gaggle of tools to be able to do that. But what have you? Let me ask you this a different way. What's your experience whenever you bring so much technical information and you expect the client to understand and appreciate the depth there, and they react in a very topical manner without really giving due credit? I mean, they've come to you for an audit and a deep. I mean, this is the physician's report. For lack of a better analogy, this is all the maladies, all the blood work, everything that could be considered a problem in the eyes of Google and in conversion ranking, and they only take maybe a single percentage of what you're actually giving them in good data. I mean, have you had that experience before?
We've got a customer that they won't give us access to the website. We've sent them audit after audit and different things to fix, and their designer rarely does any of it. It's just so frustrating. And the SEO team pulling their hair out. It's like, why are we doing this for? Nothing happens. And why are they paying money for? Because they're not getting any results. It happens, and it's really annoying.
No, absolutely. Why do you think they have that type of reluctancy? And we can commiserate. We have the same thing on a semi-regular basis.
The web designer doesn't want to give up control, and the business owner is too focused on running his business that he hasn't really noticed. I gather that's the only thing I can put it down to.
Entrenched, it's a threat. And I mean, an SEO audit, I mean, let's all call it what it is. It's a review of where you haven't improved your performance or your value of your site. So
so a lot of web designers, when you do an audit, they can feel threatened that they did a bad job.
Right.
And so you got to watch whose toes you're standing on.
You got that right. Well, I wanted to shift gears here, and we're going to talk a little bit more about SEO in the last minutes of the show here. But I want to come back to your firm and talk about developing an agency, because that's singularly important. I think in interviewing you is that you've developed a remote agency. You're dealing remotely with a lot of U.S. based clients. I mean, I want to talk about the evolution of the global marketplace and resources, because I certainly see this as an advantage in a lot of ways, but there's also some challenges and some reluctancy. Can you talk to that for a brief moment?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the challenges of working remotely are that you lose communication and you lose sight of who people are. I mean, even us having two offices, I can find at times when I'm just emailing with staff that you stop kind of seeing them as human. You kind of see them as just this machine. You send a message to it and it comes back. And so I always love it. Like, I only just got back to the Philippines about a week ago. Talking to the team and hanging out with them, taking them for dinner and that sort of stuff. It's like, wow, they're really humans again,
Oh, yeah. Yep. And the offshore type of product that's out there, you do lose that connection, because all you see is a bunch of team members out there that can put forth a good, valuable product cheaply. But if you're not having the type of relationship that you're having, Kris, and if people are just offshoring just for the sheer fact of reducing their costs, I mean, there is a gap of communication. There is a reduction of the human relationships that business needs to really be thriving. So, I mean, I think you're on the other side of the fence, where there's so many companies that offshore just to reduce expense. You're actually doing something unique, is you're developing those relationships directly with those developers, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just more enjoyable too. I really like working with my teams and going and spending time with them. Like, I'm still a software engineer at heart. I'm sitting in the dev room right now, and I'm programming with the young devs and teaching them how to code. It's great fun.
Excellent. What surprises have you had by developing this agency as you have?
Oh, well, everything really. I mean, geez, I'm a software engineer. I didn't know anything about how to run a business or how to do accountants, and I still don't know how to do accounts very well.
That's a unique skill set that is elusive. That's for darn sure.
Oh heck! I tell you, we this year we got a new accountant in Phnom Penh who's American, and she's quite good. And she was looking at our books, and she's like, "This does not add up." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "There's this big chunk of money missing here."
Whoa!
Like, what? Turned out our old office manager in the Philippines was embezzling quite significant amounts of money.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was a bit of a kick in the ribs, but we survived.
Yeah. Well, that's, again, you two things in life. You need an attorney and you need an accountant. Okay.
For sure.
All right.
Well, I was thinking a gun, but
I don't know how that would go over.
in the Philippines, I hear it's quite popular.
Oh, at the moment, it certainly is. If you've heard about our new president, Duterte.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Are you looking to build new offices? Because you certainly are growing. Are you looking to expand?
Well, we're pretty. We're actually looking for new office space at the moment because we're outgrowing our office in the Philippines. I mean, we already have run 24 hours, 3 shifts.
Wow!
And all the desk spaces are pretty much taken, so we need some more spots. Got
it. Well, that's excellent, and we are certainly going to be able to be watching your company with interest. Can you tell me, just being in this industry, what bugs you about the industry right now, the digital marketing industry?
I hate that there's no barrier to entry. Like I was watching one of those documentary shows the other day about a factory building boot polish. And I was like looking at giant machines they have, and it's like, man, to get into the boot polish industry, it'd cost you $10 million to set up.
But to be an SEO expert, you just need a blog.
Exactly. And it's like there's so many people that are so full of BS, and they just tarnish the industry forever. Like, that's right. I'd hate to say it, but charlatans like Alex Becker that brought out his latest crappy product, Workhorse, that's already disappeared. It's he's brilliant at marketing, but he just builds shitty product after shitty product, and we've actually had a couple of them in our territory over the years that were selling the. I mean, it's almost that stepping off that ebook. You read this and you'll earn millions. They capitalize on that type of gratification for customers, and they hook them up with a long-term cheap contract, and they play that game, and we're immediately pulled in. We, being other more legitimate agencies in the industry, are pulled in to the same perspective, the same level of caliber as those charlatans. You're absolutely right. Yeah, exactly. It makes the whole industry, snake oil salesman.
Yep. I've used that term before as well. You're absolutely right. So, you mentioned in our pre-show questionnaire focusing on the needs of the customer, and doesn't that just equate to everything in marketing? That's the purest perspective, and in sales as well, is that if you're not listening, if you're not asking the questions the right way, if you're not responding to what those needs are, and a lot of times the needs of the customer doesn't actually understand completely, but getting into that space, not just selling tactics, not just trying to repeat the same thing over and over for different clients, but actually having an understanding of the needs of that customer. That's where truth starts. That's where success really starts.
For sure. I'd recommend for any SEOs out there, like the first thing you should do when you get a new customer is you should have a list of questions to give them, which is everything, finding out what their business is, what they hope to achieve. And the best question you can ask is, if in 12 months' time, where do you want to be, and how would we call this a success?
Absolutely.
So then you set, then they've already set the bar. All you have to do is kick that goal, and everyone's happy.
No, you're absolutely right. And those unspoken expectations are the ones that kill you. So voicing it up front, making sure we're all playing from the same playbook, right? That's, you gotta be part of that consumer, that client's team, and they gotta be part of yours. What excites you about the industry right now?
Oh, I do love that it's just never ending. It's just growing. There's still so many web businesses that don't even have a website yet. It's like there's no end in sight for search, and it's fabulous.
No, you're right. There's certainly growth, and we certainly look forward to hearing from you and seeing what you do in this industry. I did want to wrap up our show because you did extend to us here at The Edge and our Edge listeners a special offer. So I'm going to ask you to kind of take it away. What are we going to be giving to our Edge listeners?
Sure. Well, for a real special thanks for having me on your podcast, I want to put together a competition for you guys to win a website audit. So this is a comprehensive website audit that looks at every one of the 200 points that Google used to figure out where your website should rank. We look at everything from page speed, mobile responsiveness, your architecture, title tags, metadata, bounce rates, internal linking, outbound links, your backlinks, absolutely everything. And
Excellent.
So to win the competition, all you need to do is put in your name and email, and we'll be drawing the competition 30 days after this podcast goes live, and you guys can announce the winner.
All right, excellent. So we certainly want to get our listeners talking to you, and hey, if you're interested in getting that 200-point SEO audit, then feel free to check out the landing page, communicate your information, and we will help champion the results as it comes through. So we appreciate that. That's a great gift, and it's, again, like a $2,000 value, and we certainly want to showcase that. So as you go to The Edge, you see the different, see our podcast pages, we'll have a link to that landing page where you can go ahead and connect with Kris and his team. Kris, how do they get a hold of you if they're interested in what you do and how you do things?
Yeah, so my name's Kris Reid. That's Kris with a K. My personal email is Kris at Ardor, ARDOR, SEO.com, or you can tweet me at the coolest guy at SEO.
I love it.
Coolest guy in SEO, sorry.
All right. You know what? We did have a question. I'm gonna finish up with this. We had some. I just want to go into that coolest guy because we really want to know what it takes to become cooler in SEO or otherwise. Can you help us out here?
Yeah. Just when you're born as a cowboy software engineer, who's not going to call you the coolest guy in SEO?
Australian cowboy at that.
Indeed.
Beautiful. Well, last thing, you like handstands, don't you?
I do indeed. I do them every morning.
You do them every morning. How long can you stand on your hands?
Surprisingly not that long, but I'm getting okay.
But you just keep on doing them, so it's not the duration, it's the continued handstands, huh?
Indeed, I'm getting pretty good at falling over, so it's okay.
Hey, well, let us know whenever you're in the States again. If you're in our area of the country, we certainly would like to meet up with you. Are you planning to come in the States soon?
Not this year, but probably early next year for sure.
Oh, very cool, very cool. Well, we look forward to seeing what you're doing there, and if you want to connect us, let us know, and we'll certainly take you out to dinner or something.
Awesome. That'd be fantastic, guys. Look forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Kris Reid. A really good interview, and appreciate the gift that you're giving to our listeners, that lucky winner. So everybody, just go check out the landing page, and you can enter yourself into that giveaway. Again, Kris, thank you so much for your time today. Any final words?
No, that's it. Just thanks again for having me. I appreciate it.
More than welcome. More than welcome. Okay.